Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Spider-Man the Animated Series Season 1, Episode 2 and 3, Spider Slayer and Return of Spider Slayer. These are two of my all-time favorite Spider-Man episodes from Season 1, and it's one of my all-time favorite adversaries that Spider-Man has to go up against, the Spider Slayer robots. I remember when I saw them, they were designed so beautifully on the animated series. They had a nice color palette. They all looked different. They were these huge like mech machines, and so like it's quite sad that these things have never showed up in live action. I really want them to. I'm hoping once they're done with No Way Home that the next Tom Holland trilogy will be about Alistair Smythe and this Spider Slave. That would be so nice, because think about it. Him and his father built on the Black Widow. Then his father dies. He wants revenge. He builds like the other two. Then to get more revenge, he turns himself into like some type of like cyborg Spider Slayer. It would be beautiful. But yes, so anyway, these two episodes are very interesting because the great thing about season 1, it introduces us to the world of Spider-Man and all his amazing characters. We get to meet Felicia Hardy for the first time, Flash Thompson, Mary Jane Watson, Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn, Alistair Smythe, his father, whatever his name is, something Smythe, and the Kingpin. Yes, they threw all of this into like basically one episode, and then it had a continuation in the second one. But all these characters, and I'm just like, whoa, man! Like, I could not believe it and stuff. And they're all voiced by amazing people. So basically, Spider-Man, he's just, swinging through the rooftops, which I love seeing. Like, that's one of the greatest thing about Spider-Man is like, there's so much great stuff about him, but just him web slinging is just so beautiful. You can just watch that for the longest time, which is ironic because I think the old 70s cartoon, the first episode when he goes against the Green Goblin, he's just swinging for like 10-15 minutes and there's barely anything that's going on. That gets a little bit tiring. But anyway, he's swinging around, and there are these weird, like octopus-looking robotic things following him. They're called spider seekers, which is technically what we'll call today's time drone robots. And so they're following him and stuff, mapping out his moves, seeing what he does and stuff. And what's really interesting is that they're triggering his spider sense. And when he dodges one, it explodes. So he's like, crap, dude. Like, this is some like real serious threat. And so, like, one cool thing is that the jokes all in these first two episodes are great. Like, they are spot on. That's what I love about Spider-Man. He's so chatty and like quippy and making all these cool jokes. That's the one thing that really bugs me about Tom Holland one. He's just, everything takes him by surprise. And he's like, what, wow, oh, wow, gee, oh, oh, wow. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, dude, chill. And his jokes are pretty cool, but not as cool as Andrew's when they gave him that in Amazing Spider-Man. So he manages to like destroy all of them. I think maybe except for one or something like that. And we see Alistair Smythe, and we see his father, and we see Norman Osborn. And so they got something cooking up. And Alistair's father is telling him, like these spider seekers will help us like defeat Spider-Man, and I have this like impenetrable like robot thing. That's pretty much this robot thing. The Black Widow Spider Slayer is strong. The only thing that can penetrate its outer shell is acid. And that's the only way they can put the screws in there. And he assures Osborn that these things will capture Spider-Man. Because what they're going to do is they're going to capture him and they want to give him to the police. But Norman has other things in mind. And the only reason why Smythe, the father, is doing this is so he can build Alistair like a hover chair. Similar to that of Charles Xavier when he had his hover wheelchair thing. And so like both Alistair and his father, they sound British or German or something. If it's Smythe, then I guess it'd be German, but they're not doing a very good German accent. They sound more British than anything else. So Peter is like on edge, wanting to know like what these things are about and stuff like that. So then at some point it cuts to Felicia Hardy, and she's at Jonah's office, talking about she needs like a photographer and wanting to know if Jameson's gonna like live through with his charity event thing. And he tells he's done tons of these things, and his reputation precedes him and that type of stuff. And she wants him to get like a really good photographer. He doesn't want to send Parker, but he does. And so she's happy to see Parker because she goes to school with him. And Jonah's kind of like shocked. They don't have Eddie no more because Eddie got fired in the first episode. And so like Eddie, he's now like working for like another newspaper organization, and he's desperate for like a job. You know what I'm saying? And so like we find out why Norman has like an I can't even talk right. I'm getting tongue tied. Ulterior motive, and because he's working for the Kingpin. The Kingpin wants Spider-Man dead because Spider-Man is foiling all his criminal activity. So he tells Osborn plain and simple. When he's like, if you don't kill Spider-Man, then I get your company. And he has a huge company. His company looks very much like that of the comic book, not like that of the movies. And the comic book is like a giant warehouse factory looking thing. And so like Norman tells him, whether you kill Spider-Man or you get my company, either way, you win. And he's all like, that's because I'm the Kingpin and everything. And I always liked that motive that he had, win or lose, he's gonna win. And so at the charity event, Felicia's wearing like a beautiful black dress, which is a nod to her Black Cat outfit. And so Harry is there, and Flash Thompson's there, and Flash wants to like dance with like Felicia and all this other stuff. But no, when she sees Parker, she wants to like be with him. And Flash makes some like jokes because he hates Peter. He always picks on him and bullies him and stuff. And so, they're not in high school, they're in college. And so he wants to know whose Parker date is. And boom, it's Aunt May. And Felicia thinks it's sweet. Now, Aunt May does not want to be there. She just wants to watch TV. And she tells Peter straight up, you could have taken this on one girl, Anna's niece named Mary Jane Watson. See, they're making nods to her already, where she's getting a mention and stuff. So Felicia takes him away from her. They dance, they kiss, and all this other stuff. This pisses off Flash because he hates Parker. So he decides he's going to get back even. He takes Harry outside so he can change. I don't know why he wanted Harry to see him change, but whatever. And he puts on a Spider-Man costume. And he tells him he's really going to stick it to Parker and everything. And so, Harry tells him, oh, that's your hero and everything. Because, see, Spider-Man, Flash Thompson loves Spider-Man. Ironic, because he hates Peter and stuff. And so, when he goes in there, he is, threatening Parker, talking about, I don't like the way you take pictures of me and blah, blah, blah. And Peter's just kind of like, what the world is going on? I know I'm not in two places at once. But then his spider sense goes off. And he knows that this fake imposter like Flash can't be setting off his spider sense, but he don't know what's going on. And so next thing you know, everybody knows what's setting off his spider sense. It's the Black Widow. It wants Spider-Man. And who does it think Spider-Man is? Flash. So it goes after him. He hightails it on out of there. Parker ends up putting Aunt May in safety, and then he goes and change. And so the thing's just crashing stuff left and right. This is in Jameson's home, by the way, so it's getting trashed. And so when he changes, he tries to fight the thing, can't really. The ceiling caves in, it takes Spider-Man. And so now we're back at Oscorp, and Eddie Brock is there. He had a huge scoop. Oh no, wait. Eddie's not fired yet. I forgot he's fired at the end of this episode. Yeah, he's still working for JJ, and he tells him he has an exclusive. So he's there at Oscorp. He's there for the unmasking Spider-Man. My bad. And so they unmask Spider-Man. And so at this point in time, Aunt May's in that room. And what is she doing in there? Watching TV. All this commotion going on. She's just watching TV. JJ goes in there because they're watching the news. And he sees Brock there. They unmask Spider-Man. It's Flash Thompson, not Peter. And she's all like, wait a minute, I know that boy. He goes to school with Peter. And then JJ's all like, wait, hold on. You mean to tell me Spider-Man's just some goofy kid in college? And so then he's all like, and so then next thing you know, Spider-Man is actually on the ceiling with in the Aunt May room. And he's making fun of JJ and all this other stuff. And JJ's like, oh yeah, I know for a fact this is the real one and everything because all the insults he's giving. Then he's pissed at Brock. He's all like, he just made my company look like idiots and everything. So Aunt May's all like, you know, while we're arguing about this, who's going to help that Flash boy? Peter is gone. So he's swinging through the city knowing he has to help the dude that hates him. Ironic, tis it not? So, like, he shows up. There's a bunch of guards there now. The Kingpin sent them. Alistair Smythe and them all like, what's going on? Because they're there to kill Spider-Man. And so Norman knew about this, but the other ones didn't. And so they're kind of like upset. And so Spider-Man, he takes care of the guards. He frees like Flash. And this is the first and only time we ever see Spider-Man do hand-to-hand combat. He's punching, he's kicking. I mentioned that before in my John Shipper episode, not episode, but video. So like, the guards, they turn on the Black Widow, and Spider-Man knows this thing is like a match for him. He knows he can't take it on. It's too strong for him. And so like Norman tells him plain and simple, if Spider-Man ain't dead, you ain't getting that hover chair. So he stays behind. And Norman takes like Smythe, Alistair on out of there, right? So Spider-Man's doing his best to fight this thing. He just can't. And then he's trying to climb the walls, and it like puts like this slippery oil stuff, so he's slipping and sliding. Then it's shooting acid at him. And then so like it sees two Spider-Men, so it goes after the other one who's crouching and hiding. Spider-Man figures that, hey, if he can put his web cartridges and it's like with the jet propulsion things comes out, it might clog it up, and it works. And so when it's clogged up, it's falling. He grabs it and he throws it in the vat of acid, and so now the Spider Slayer is gone. The building has now been starting to catch on fire and everything. Spider-Man gets Flash on out of there, but boom, it explodes, and Alistair Smythe's dad is like gone. Or is he? We'll find that out in a couple of seasons later. Hey, when I say this is the spoiler review, like, you're gonna get spoiled. And so like Flash is like, he's all like, oh man, I'm such an idiot and blah 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 blah. And Peter's actually being pretty nice to him, but he tells him straight up, wearing this costume comes with a price, and you can make a lot of enemies and stuff. So that's great. He's giving him some like advice. You know, he hates this dude, so he sends him back to like the charity party. Eddie Brock is now fired. Felicia is pissed at Flash for acting stupid. She's pissed at Peter for abandoning her. And so like towards the end, we see Alistair just like looking and staring at the debris, and he's like really sad, and like, you know, because the building's down. And then here comes the Kingpin talking about like, your father was an employee of mine and I want to help you out. Ooh boy, he has no idea what he got himself into. So now we see the second episode, and I think Alistair Smythe now has that hover chair. I think he does. I'm not really sure, but he wants revenge on his mind. He wants everybody that he feels caused his father, that building explosion caused his father not to like go through what he said he was gonna do. So he is furious. Now at this point in time, Felicia doesn't want nothing to do with Peter no more. Now she's dating Flash, and so that kind of bums Peter out. But don't worry, Aunt May has a backup, Mary Jane Watson, which he does not want to go with. So Alistair, he rebuilt the Spider Slayer months later, but he has two others. The one of them's in the shape of a scorpion. The other one, I have no idea what's the shape of that thing. It looks kind of like a crab, or a lobster. So anyway, now scorpion makes sense because it's the normal predator of that of a spider. So like Peter, at some point when he's Spider-Man, he sees that the Black Widow has like been rebuilt. He doesn't understand how, because Alistair Smite's father is dead and everything, and so he is able to fight it off very quickly by using a satellite dish and the radio waves that come in from it, and so it disrupts the circuitry and everything. So he thinks he's down kaput and everything. Until there's another one, a much bigger one. That's the one that kind of looks like a crab, kind of. And so, like, as he's fighting that, a little girl, her mom, and a dog comes out. The dog goes crazy, tries to attack the Spider Slayer. And so, like, Peter has to rescue the dog and the woman. And then he ends up getting captured by the Spider Slayer. So Alex Smite has one down. And so, like, then he calls JJ. JJ is, like, happy. He's ready to unmask Spider-Man. But Alistair tricks him and everything. And so he plants a bomb on both their wrists. And he tells them, plain and simple, you let my y'all are the reason why my father's dead, and now you're finna die too. And he has three more he has to go after. So then Spider-Man is gonna try to track down the other people that Alistair wants dead. And he gives them an hour to live, which is just the dumb thing a villain does. Like, set that thing for a minute or 5 minutes, let it blow up. You don't set it for an hour. So he drops them off on the rooftop. They're swinging. They go to find Flash Thompson, who's dating Felicia. He sees the Spider Slayer thing. He freaks. He runs and abandons her. So you know how that's going to end between those two. And so, like, he sees that this Spider Slayer has, like, a freeze ray and everything. So, does he? No. It also has a laser gun to it too. So now all these new Spider Slayers have like laser guns and stuff. And so he uses the laser to it to cut him and JJ free. And then he tells him to like tell like Norman and find Brock and tell them and this and that. So JJ takes what's his name? Flash, and they hightail it. And we don't see them for the rest of the episode because JJ said he's gonna make some calls. So we know who he's gonna call. Norman. So Spider-Man's doing his extreme best to like take this thing down. Now at one point I think he's at like a construction factory and he uses a crane. I forget which one he hooks and knocks out. I think it's the Black Widow. And so then what is it? He's looking for Eddie, and Eddie's now working for a new news company. The dude's all like, JJ, your reference said like you ain't no good, you can't be trusted, blah blah blah. And he's all like, well, it's all Spider-Man's fault. Next thing you know, here comes the Spider Slayer, and so it tears up that dude's like news organization. He fires Brock because of that. Spider-Man comes in and saves the day. And Eddie blames Spider-Man. We know where this is leading later on in the season. I can't wait. Ooh, one of my favorite episodes. One of my favorite villains. And so, like, JJ calls, like, Norman. He's, like, he has, like, some tank robot things he's going to take care of. Then he calls, I think, Kingpin, maybe? I'm not really sure, and asking what's going on and stuff like that. I'm not really sure. I think that was another episode of Hobgoblin. But anyway, so with two Slayers down, at some point, I forget how he takes the other one down, and he heads on over to Norman Osborn's place. The third Slayer is activated. It's attacking Oscorp. Then Alistair activates the other two, right? When they get to Oscorp, they combine into this giant mech like crawling thing. It reminds me of something off Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin. When the Zords first connect before they turn into the Megazord, it's like that. It's really cool, it's awesome, it's boss. You know what I'm saying? And so Spider-Man uses this liquid oxygen thing to freeze the bomb and break it off his wrist. And so, like, he's going to use that to try to get rid of these Slayers and stuff. Norman Osborn robots are no match for this thing, but Spider-Man has a trick up his sleeve. His little bomb thing. He throws it at it, boom, it explodes like all the robots and everything. I love how Spider-Man uses his brain to get himself out of situations. Because when he knows he's strong, he knows he's fast, he knows he's agile. But when you have like a giant robot at the size of like a building, you gotta use your brain. That's one of the great things about Spider-Man that Stan Lee did. He made him smart. You don't want a dumb superhero and stuff. And if you do have a dumb superhero, they better have like a smart tech friend that be at a computer or something like that. So, like, you know, he saves the day. Kingpin is pissed at Alistair. He's all like, you work for me until you kill Spider-Man and everything. And so Peter, he's home because his suit's ripped and everything. He's tired. He doesn't want to like deal with nothing for the rest of the night, but he has to fix his suit. And so, like, as he's sewing it up, he complains that, you know, being a superhero, you gotta make your own suit. I love that, man. I love how he makes his own suit, sewing it up, and stuff like that. That's one of the great things that we get to see, like, Andrew Garfield, like, do with his suit. He got to, like, sew his by himself, which we didn't get to see the other two live-action Spider-Man do. Well, Aunt May tells him it's a surprise at the door. It's his date. And he's pissed. He's like, I don't want to date this woman. She might have like two heads. He opens the door. There is a redhead knockout at the door who gives her famous line, "Face it, Tiger, you just hit the jackpot," which they have never said in live action. It pisses me off. You know, there's some things that should, like, you know, should be like lived up for tradition. Like Uncle Ben saying his famous line with the whole power responsibility thing, but get it right, because they've been getting it wrong in the animation. And in the first movie, they got it wrong. It's in the comic book, it's something totally different. But my God, when Mary Jane sees Peter for the first time, she's supposed to say that line. Which, you know, they didn't do that in the first movie because, like, you know, they knew each other growing up and stuff, so it didn't make no sense. And she was supposed to show up in the second one playing by an idiot, Shailene Woodley and everything, but no, like, but they scrapped her, and thank God they scrapped her and her dumb behind. Anyway, so and then, you know, it's interesting because they got this MJ version in the MCU who does not act like Mary Jane Watson whatsoever. She acts so emo and everything. And you know what's weird? Felicia Hardy is in the MCU. She's been in the Spider-Man movies, but she doesn't act like Felicia Hardy. She just acts like this really sweet, like nice girl. I think that's Felicia, or if it's Liz Allen, but I'm pretty sure it's Felicia. And she doesn't act no way like she's supposed to. The MCU, man, I swear, like sometimes they get some things right, but other things they just can't and stuff. But like I said before, these were two of my favorite episodes. I love them to death. I love the Spider Slayers. They need to show up in live action because that would be awesome. If they can make the Transformer robots look realistic, you know they're going to make the Spider Slayers look realistic. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.